Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the start of a new series that will carry over for the next 8 weeks or so. Like my previous revisit of the Friday the 13th film franchise, I'm doing the same with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So before I dive in, to this first film, here's what you'll have in store for this series. Like the Friday the 13th films, I have seen all of these before. However, there are some that I'm more familiar with, such as parts 1 and 3. And all the others, even if I was familiar with them at some point before, it's been so many years since I've seen them. Some of them, it's going to feel almost like a new experience. But I'll be revisiting every single one of them, doing a video for each. It's about 5 to 10 minutes. And the plan is to post these each Monday evening over the course of those 8 weeks. And then it will end on Halloween as I upload the final video where I take the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, merge them together to do a quick little review on how well they did with Freddy vs. Jason. As for the remakes, though, for both of those films, that's going to be a later series where I kind of, revisit remakes in general. So here we are, first video in the series, and for those new folks, here's the spiel. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon to get notifications for when I put up new content, which is usually once or twice a week, though occasionally I try to work in a third. Check out my back catalog while you're here and share both this video and this channel around after you stick around to the end, because all those things really do help out the channel quite a bit. Okay, let's do this. This one is for A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. Of course, I'd seen this one before, like I said, but I'd seen it several times. I've seen it so many times over the years I probably lost count, but I never got a chance to see it in the theater, despite the fact that I'm old and friendly. I mean, that's what the kids say when they say I'm old AF. And friendly. Yes, and thank you. Anyways, but I do remember when part 2 was coming out, having those nightmares, and then when part 2 came out, whenever I'd see commercials coming on the screen at home from New Line Cinema, I would just see that logo pop up, and I would leave the room, because just knowing that there was a commercial coming on involving Freddy, I would want to get the hell out of there. It actually really did scare me. But anyways, for you newbies, which honestly you should probably watch the film before watching this video, or for those who haven't actually read just like a generalized synopsis for the film in a while, here's one from Amazon, and it is as follows. Teenager Nancy Thompson must uncover the dark truth concealed by her parents after she and her friends become targets of the spirit of a serial killer with a bladed glove in their dreams, in which if they die, it kills them in real life. So I think that that's one of the reasons this one had kind of freaked me out a bit as a kid, and possibly why these films, and this one in particular, have kind of, stuck with so many people over the years, that they always come back to this one, this idea of dying in your sleep. Because for me, one thing that makes a horror film scary is being in a dangerous and life-threatening situation and not being able to escape. If you can always, drive away, make a call, run on foot, fight back, and so on, but if it's related to dreams, where the dream demon of sorts is calling all the shots, all you can hope for is to wake up. And as time goes on, you are more and more sleep deprived from trying to not go to sleep, that it becomes harder for you to wake up, and you dream more deeply, and you're more likely to die. So that always really hit me hard as a kid, because back then, of course, as a kid, I had more nightmares than I do as an adult. So those nightmares being all too common and relevant for me, were pretty rough, seeing the character of Nancy kind of going through a similar issue, but that her nightmares were persistent and those dreams will actually kill her. It made it all pretty raw for me, this idea that there's nothing I can do to escape this. But throughout this film, we also got a nice backdrop of a mystery. Who the hell is this demonic nightmare guy, Freddy? Okay, who's that? And why is he after me? And why is the Dream Doctor played by Roger Rabbit and that postal guy from Demon Knight? But seriously, along with the horror, the frights, the blood, it was that mystery which stitched everything together for me. Moving on from scene to scene, waiting to see more of this unfold, putting up with any of those frights while we go down this, similar road of, or this familiar road of, how's Nancy going to get out of this? Who's going to survive? How do you even fight this guy? So that mystery always kept me interested in it the entire way. What's going to happen next? And also, this being the first installment in the series, we didn't really get the comedy that comes later. Down the line in the films, I just remember them having more and more puns and having more and more comedy, to the point where it almost made Freddy out to be the one that you're rooting for more than anybody else. So it took some of that fright away from it. But so all in all, of course, this one has definitely held up well over the years. I recently got the Blu-ray set, finally. All I had before was part 1 on DVD, so after buying this Friday the 13th set in response to a post from a Mutant fan member, I believe it was Schmarm, maybe, on Twitter, they kind of reminded me to just get around to buying those sets that I wanted, the Friday the 13th one and this Nightmare on Elm Street one. So, and if looking at this first film or two alone is any indication, the transfer is really, really good. They really cleaned things up for this edition. It's totally worth the price, especially the fact that the Nightmare on Elm Street films, I believe this is only about 30 to 40 bucks for like 7 of the films, I believe. But so everything about this, as I consider it to be a classic, not only was great to revisit, but that transfer being really good was a nice way to kind of add to that experience. And at the time of making this video, I've also already rewatched part 2, which looked similarly good in my opinion. But more on that one will be in the next video for next week, which is why you should subscribe and hit that little bell icon to get notification for when that video comes up, because it should be out in about a week. And yeah, so you should come by and check that one out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this little video of mine. Like I say, Nightmare on Elm Street is one of my favorite franchises. Even though I haven't revisited it in a long time, this is going to be a really interesting journey that's going to take almost 2 months. But at any rate, future ones will likely be closer to that 3 to 7 minute range, since I won't have to be doing the entire introduction again. But anyways, thanks for sticking around to the end. I'm not going to say that I'll see you in your dreams, because that's way too creepy in a lot of ways. But anyways, I'll just say the usual. I will see you in the next one.